All right. So I don't actually have a ton of a huge variety of information to give you today. Um, what I want to do is talk about fraction division using an area model. And this is a topic that is sometimes fairly confusing for students, which is why we're just going to work out a bunch of examples of this stuff. So let me see if I can get this straight. There we go. Okay, so to sort of get us going on this topic, let's just think about um, 12 divided by 3. So we'll do this with whole numbers first because I think it'll be pretty clear with whole numbers. The whole idea behind 12 divided by 3 is how many groups of 3 would it take in order to make 12? And we know that the answer to this is 4, right? It's pretty obvious that that 4 groups of 3 is going to give us 12, right? But to show this with an area model, the way that we would do that is we would give ourselves a group of 3, and I'm going to arrange the units into a rectangle, right? So there's a group of 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make as many copies of this group of 3 as I need in order to get 12 units. So if I make another copy of the group of 3, then now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, which isn't enough because I need to get to 12. So I add on another group of 3. Now I have 9 units, and that's still not enough because I need 12. But if I hand myself one more group of 3, now I get 12 units. And how many groups did I need? Well, this was 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. Okay, 4 groups of 3. So you can kind of think of it like, if you think of it like a number line, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we needed 4 groups of 3 in order to make 12. So, so in general, to do division with an area model like this, you are gonna put you're gonna put the second number as your width, as the width of your rectangle, and then the first number is the area of your rectangle. It's the area that you're gonna look for, and the answer to the division problem is the length of your rectangle. Okay, so the second number is the width, the first number is the area, and the answer is the length, which goes along the top. It actually doesn't matter. You could put this number along the top, and then your answer would be down the side. Those things are interchangeable, but the way I'm going to work it out, I'm always going to put this number down the side, and I'm going to look for my answer across the top. Okay. Remember that this number is your area, right? So this is always the area that you're looking for. So that's always the area, and then this is the side. So with that in mind, let me walk you through some examples of this when you're dealing with fractions. So let's do 1/2 divided by 1/3. Okay, so first of all, we need to hand ourselves a unit. Okay, and then 1/2 is the area that we're looking for, 1/3 is the side. So I'm going to go ahead and split the side up into 3 parts, and this is 1/3 right here. Now the question is, how many copies of this 1/3 bar do I need in order to make 1/2? Well, if I only take one of these bars, then I'm only going to have 1/3 of the area, and I need 1/2, right? I need to get 1/2 of a unit. So obviously, I need to give myself another unit. And again, I'm going to split this into thirds. Now, if I take the next third, if I take the whole thing, then I'm going to get 2/3. But that's too much because the area I'm looking for is 1/2, right? And 2/3 is too much. So how much of this third do I need to take? Well, if I come back and I split this initial box in half vertically, and I split this one in half vertically, then what I see is that half of 1 unit is equal to 1, 2, 3, right? This is half. So half of this unit is equal to 3 of these sixths, right? Which makes sense. We know that 1/2 is the same thing as 3 over 6, right? So half of the unit is the same as 3 of these boxes. So I need to shade in 1, 2, 3 boxes, okay, in order to get a half. So if you rearrange these 3 boxes that I've shaded in, you could rearrange them so that they fill up this first half, and then you can see that, oh yes, I filled in half of 1 unit, right? It's just that we've arranged the boxes differently because you're dividing by 1/3, and so you're not allowed to shade any boxes below this line, right? You're not allowed to shade in any boxes below this line. So, but anyway, this gives us the area that we're looking for. So now the question is, what is this number right here? Well, this was 1 unit, this was our second unit, and this was halfway between them. So this is 1/2, and that's your answer. Okay, so 1/2 divided by 1/3 is 1/2. And you can verify this using what you know about fraction division. Okay, the way that we divide fractions is we flip the second fraction over and we change the division to multiplication, right? And then you just multiply straight across. You get 3 halves. And if you change that into a mixed number, sure enough, it's 1/2. Okay? But I'm not so interested in this. I'm interested in, can you show the division using an area model? Okay? So if that was confusing for you, my advice would be pause the video, rewind the video, rewatch that portion of the lecture. Okay? But I'm going to move on now and give you another example. So I'm going to do the same division problem backwards. Let's do 1/3 divided by 1/2. Okay? So remember that the first number is the area you're looking for. The second number is your side. So this time we have a side of 1/2. So I'm going to hand myself 1 unit, and I'm going to mark 1/2 along the side. And now I need to take as many halves as I need in order to make an area of 1/3 of 1 unit. Well, if I take the entire half, that's going to be too much because I only want 1/3 of the unit. So how much of this half do I need in order to make 1/3 of the unit? Well, I'm going to use the same trick that I used on the previous problem, and I'm going to split this unit into thirds vertically. Okay? Because if I do that, then I can see that this is 1/3, this is 2/3, and I can see that 1/3 of a unit is going to equal 2 of these little boxes, right? It's going to equal 1/3 is going to equal 2/6, right? 2 of these little boxes. But now the trick is, because I'm dividing by 1/2, I can't go below this line right here. So I can only shade across the top. So I'm not going to shade in this box and this box. I'm going to shade in this box and this box. And that is 1/3 of the entire figure. Okay, so now the question is, how much of the half did I need? Well, I needed 2/3 of it. I needed 2/3 of the half in order to make up 1/3 of the whole. All right. So I realize that this stuff is maybe a little difficult to wrap your brain around at first, the first time you see it and the first time you hear it. But if you think about that sentence, what you should do is get yourself a bowl of ice cream, sit in a comfy armchair, and ponder that sentence until it makes sense to you, right? But in order to make 1/3 of the whole, we needed to take 2/3 of the half. Okay? This is good for your number sense, okay? But anyway, you're welcome to verify this as well. Obviously, if you flip and multiply, you're going to get 2/3, okay? Let me give you another example. Let's say I wanted to do 1/3 divided by 1/5. Okay, 1/3 divided by 1/5. So again, this is your area. you're looking for an area of 1/3 of 1 unit, and this is one of your sides, right? So let's do this. I'm going to hand myself a unit, and I'm going to split it into fifths. Okay, so 1/5 obviously would be just that first mark right there. Now I'm trying to make an area of 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to split this vertically into thirds, because that way I can see that 1/3 of 1 unit is going to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these little pieces. But again, I'm not allowed to shade below this line. So if I take the entire fifth, well, that's only 3 pieces, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 pieces, right? So what I need to do is hand myself another unit. Okay, so this is my second unit. And remember, I need 5 pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So there's 5 pieces. Together, these 5 pieces make up 1/5 of 1 unit, right? So then the question is, what number is this, right? Well, it's 1 plus, I split the space between 1 and 2 into 3 parts and took the second one, so that's 2/3, right? So it's 1 and 2/3. 1 and 2/3 is my answer. If you're starting to think like, yeah, but the number we're dividing by has always had a numerator of 1, right? I promise you that I'll show you some here in a second where the numerator is something other than 1. I'll warn you that it does get a lot trickier when you do that, but I'll show you several examples so you get the idea. Okay. Okay. Here's another example. And by the way, if you want to give the video a pause and try this out on your own, you're welcome to do that. I would recommend that you do that. I think that's a good way to kind of make sure that you've got the idea. Anyway, let's see if we can do 1 divided by 1/4. Okay, so 1 is the area that you're going for, and 1/4 is one of your sides. If you're thinking about this like, you know, how many 1/4 do I need in order to make 1, it should be pretty obvious that the answer is 4. You need 4/4 in order to make 1, right? Obviously. But let's see if we can show this using an area model. I'm going to hand myself a unit. I'm going to split it into 4 horizontally. Right? 1/4 is the number that I'm dividing by, so I'm not allowed to shade anything below this line. But I'm trying to make an area of 1. So if I take this entire fourth, well, that's 1/4, but I need more, right? So I'm going to hand myself another unit. Now I've got 2/4, which is still not enough, right? Hand myself another unit. Now I've got 3/4, still not enough. But if I hand myself another unit, then I get 4/4, and that's equal to 1, right? So my answer is 4. Okay, here's another one. Let's do 5/6 divided by 1/3. Okay, remember 5/6 is the area that you're looking for. 1/3 is your side. I'm going to hand myself a unit, split it into thirds. There's 1/3 right there, so I'm not allowed to go below this line when I'm shading stuff in. I need to make an area of 5/6. So here's the deal. Rather than splitting this into 6 parts vertically, I'm just going to split it in half. And the reason I'm going to do that is because now I've split my unit into 6 parts, and I know that I need 5 of them, right? So I need 5 boxes this size, but I'm not allowed to go below this line. So if I take this entire third, that's only going to give me 2/6, and I need to get to 5/6, right? So let's give ourselves another unit. And by the way, if you're thinking, well, but why not just split it into 6? You could split it into 6. You're going to have to simplify your answer in the end. That's okay though. But it's not necessary to split it in 6. You can get away with just splitting it in half. Okay? Because now you've split your unit into 6 parts, and so you can see what 5/6 looks like. It looks like 5 of these little boxes. Anyway, if I go straight across now, I get 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. That's not quite enough because I need 5, right? I need 5/6. So I'm going to add one more unit, and now I can shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, there's 5/6 right there. Okay, so what number is this? Well, it's right in between 2 and 3, right? I split the space between 2 and 3 in half, so it should be 2 1/2. Right, 2 1/2. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to give you 5 more examples, okay? So here we go. Let's do 1 1/6 divided by 1/3. Okay, so again, this is your area. It's the area that you're looking for, and this is your side. So there's 1/3. And I'm trying to make 1 1/6, right? So obviously, if I take the full third, that's not enough. 1 1/6 is more than 1, so I know I'm going to need at least 4 copies, 4 units, right? Right, because that gets me 2/3. 3 copies will get me to 3/3, which is 1. And then if I make a 4th copy, and I take the whole thing, that's going to be too much, right? Because so far I've shaded in 1 full unit. Okay, I've shaded in 1 full unit. If you rearrange these, you can see that these 3 things are going to fill up 1 unit. So I filled up 1 full unit, but I need to fill up 1 full unit plus 1/6 of a unit. So that means that this last unit over here, if I split it in half, now I've got 6ths, right? And I only need 1 of them. Okay, so I've now shaded in 1 1/6. So my area that I've shaded in is 1 1/6. So the question is, what's that number, right? Because that's my answer. Well, again, this is halfway between 3 and 4, so it's 3 1/2. Right, so that's the answer to that one. Okay. One more where our divisor is a unit fraction. When your numerator is 1, we call those unit fractions. So I'm going to give you one more example where our divisor is a unit fraction, and then I'll give you 3 examples where our divisor is not a unit fraction. So you can kind of get the idea of how that's going to work. So let's do 3/4 divided by 1/5. So 3/4 is our area, 1/5 is our side. So there's 1/5 right there. I need to shade in an area of 3/4, so let's split this into fourths so that I can get a sense for how much 3/4 is. Okay, so 3/4 would be this number right here. Okay, how many small rectangles is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm looking to shade in 15 of these small little rectangles, but I'm not allowed to shade below this 1/5 line. So if I shade across the top, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's not nearly enough because I need 15 of them. So if I give myself another unit, well, now I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's still not enough. Alright, so this is my second unit. I'm going to make the line a little heavier so I can see the distinction. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I need 15. Remember, I need 15. So I'm going to give myself one more unit. And I need 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is right there. Okay. So that's that's 15 twentieths, or in other words, 3/4 of one unit. It's just that it's been stretched out across the top because I couldn't shade below the 1/5 line. Now, what's this number? Well, I split the space between 3 and 4 into 4 parts, and I took the third one. So I think this is 3 and 3/4. Okay. So hopefully you're kind of getting the hang of this. Let's do one that's not a unit, where the divisor is not a unit fraction. So let's do the same problem, 3/4 divided by 2/5 this time. So let's divide by 2/5 so that you can contrast that with what we just did. So again, 3/4 is my area, 2/5 is one of my sides now. So I'm going to start off pretty much the same way. I'm going to split my unit into 5 parts horizontally. But this time 2/5 is right here. So it's this line that I'm not allowed to go below. And again, I need 3/4. That means the area that I'm looking for is 15, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of these little boxes. So if I take this entire 2/5, that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 15ths. And that's not enough, right? Because I need it's going to give me 8 20ths, but that's not enough because I need 15 20ths. So let me hand myself another unit and split it the same way. Okay, so now if I take the entire second unit, that's going to be too much, right? Because they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But I don't want 16 20ths. I want 15 20ths. Right? I only want 15 20ths. So what does that tell me? Well, I can shade in all of these for sure, because I know I need, how many of it? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right? So I know I need, but I need one more 20th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split these little boxes in half. So I'm going to do one more division where I split these boxes in half. And now if I take half from each of those boxes, then that's going to give me one little box. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then together these halves make 15 little boxes. Okay? So that is how we would do this one. And that's why it gets a little more challenging when you're dealing with non-unit fractions. But anyway, we can still get the answer. The question is, what's that number? Well, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I split this space into 4 parts, but then I split this last fourth in half. So maybe if I split all the fourths in half, it would be easier to tell. Right, so it looks like it's so if I do that, then I split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. And I've taken the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one. Oh, let me do that when my hand's not in the way. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts, and I've taken my answers on the 7th one. So it's 1 and 7/8 is the answer to that problem. Okay, let me give you another one. Let's do 3/4 divided by 3/5. Right, so this way you can really get a good sense for how changing this numerator really affects the problem. In this case, I think it's actually a little bit better than the previous case. Let's see. So there's my unit. I'm going to split it into 5 parts. And 3/5. I'm going to use 3/5. So now this is the line that I can't shade below. Okay, now once again, I'm looking for 15 of these little boxes. So if I shade in all of the boxes above that line, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's not quite enough. So I'm going to hand myself another unit. And again, I'm not allowed to shade below that line right there. Let's see, now if I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which is exactly the number that I need, right? And so that's my answer. Whatever that number is right there. What is that number? Well, it's 1 and 1/4, right? That's 1 and 1/4. So that one actually wasn't as bad as the previous problem. Okay, let me give you one more example though, and this one I think is worse. I think this is probably the hardest one. If you can do this one, you're in good shape. Let's do 3/4 divided by 4/5. Okay, so same deal. By the way, this is the last example I'm going to give you. Same deal. Okay, so I'm going to split this into 5 parts. And I'm going to take 4/5, which is this line right here. So I'm not allowed to shade underneath that line. Now once again, 3/4 is the same thing as 15 of these little boxes. 15 of these little boxes. So if I take all of them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's too many. It's too many, right? If I stop here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's not enough. So I need some of this last column, but not the whole thing. If I split it in half, and I just take the first half of the column, now each of these pieces is worth one of these little boxes, right? Or sorry, each of these pieces is worth half of one of these boxes, so 2 of them together makes one of these boxes. Well, how many do I have now then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's not enough. So I think I'm going to split in half again. Okay, so I've really split this last column into 4 parts. But now notice that 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little tiny slivers makes one box. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? So this is my answer right here. Right, that's my answer. So the question is, what is that number, right? Well, this was 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then I split that last fourth into 4 parts. So maybe if I split each of the fourths into 4 parts, I can get some sense for what number that is. Let's see. If I do that, then that splits this entire line into 1, 2, 3. Let me get my hand out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And my arrow's on the 15th one. So this is 15 sixteenths. Right, is my answer. Okay. If you need to rewatch this video, please do, because this is all I'm planning on posting on today's module, and I don't think that took a full hour and 15 minutes, which is how long we would normally be together if we were face-to-face in a classroom setting. So, so use your time to make sure that you understand this concept. Post questions in the discussion board if you're having trouble getting to it. But that's all. Those are all the examples I'm going to give you for now.